Hey, it is day 30, unbelievable, of 365 days of my raw journey of suspending disbelief. It is May 22nd, 2024, and today started out, I knew it was going to be special because today was the 22nd, and oh my goodness, right as I said that, I was at 22 seconds on my clock. Okay, you guys, the number 22 has been ridiculously repetitive in my life for months. And I can't remember if I've mentioned this previously in this podcast or not, but it is extreme. It is laughable how much it shows up for me. So, um, it's become kind of my symbol, my sign from my guides, a way for me to follow direction and all of these things. Anyways, I knew, and like usually it's confirmation that I'm on the right path, right? When I see it, that I'm doing the right things or making the right decisions or whatever. So when I woke up today, knowing that it was the 22nd, I was like, today is going to be golden. I just know it. It's going to be amazing because there's just no other option with the number 22. I was up early this morning for a mastermind call, which was incredible energy to start the day out with. I love masterminds that have early morning calls. I just love them. Like that might sound so backwards, but it just sets your day off right. If you ever have the opportunity to be in one, do it. So today, especially again, going into it with all the expectations of the number 22 for me, I was making sure that I was following my intuition as closely as possible, listening immediately, acting immediately on the nudges I was getting, fully trusting that I'm always exactly where I'm supposed to be, right? And that my guides are going to lead me right, that my success is inevitable. And yeah, so the nudges today were scary. I was nudged to pay things that I've been putting off because I didn't have all of my rent money yet for the end of the month. And I was holding on to what I did have just in case, right? So that I would be closer to the goal of the rent dollars. And when I got the nudge to pay these things, I was like, ooh, like that's stretchy, that's scary, right? And I realized though right away that the way that I was handling my money there, that I was holding on to that money for the rent, thinking like, what if I need it? That's a very lack mindset way of thinking. Like if I pay these things, more won't come in or something like that. So I said, no, I'm suspending disbelief that more than enough is always coming. And I paid them, which was like all range of things, smaller things that all needed to be paid that I'd been putting off. So, um, one of the biggest ones that I paid today was an extension on a pawn loan, I think is what they call it. Which when I moved into this place, I needed to come up with a lot of money in a very short period of time because the damage deposit was $1,700. The first month's rent was $1,700. Like there was so much. And I was paying $25 per animal per month on top of that, which was another 75. Like it just was so much. So I had to come up with thousands. And I don't know anybody in my day-to-day life that can just come up with thousands on the spot. Or at least not that I'm aware of. Anyways, so I pawned my wedding ring set, and I have not said that out loud to anybody until this very moment. So that has been a source of shame for me that I did that. Even though we're getting divorced, even though, all of those things, I did really love my wedding ring. I have no intention of it being lost through a pawn shop. I do intend to get it back. However, buying it back has been like, it's a big it's a big amount that I have to have all at once to be able to do it. So I have been paying the monthly fee to just tide it over, right? Keep it going so that it will be held for me for when I'm able to do that, which sucks and I don't love it. Financially, it's a stupid move, right? Like it's not a good investment. It's not. I didn't have a lot of time, so like I couldn't go get a bank loan. I couldn't do any of those kinds of things, right? But it was. I don't regret it. It was something that needed to happen, but financially, it's a bad investment. Like the amount that I'm paying every month to hold it over. If you add up a few months, I could have bought back what I got for it, kind of thing. Because they don't give you anything near what it's worth, right? Anyways, long story. I specifically was putting that one off, thinking like I have a few more days. I really need to make sure that I have rent covered first and all of these things. And for something that I had decided I'm not going to let that slide, that was risky business as well. But today I was nudged to pay these things. So I drove into the city. I live in a smaller town. It's about a 30 plus minute drive into the big city area that's close to me. Um, so I drove into the city to pay the extension. Uh, and it ended up being more than I thought because I had forgotten that last month I put less on it. So I didn't hold it over for as many days. Um, so it was more to pay, but also I didn't realize that it had defaulted this morning. So if I hadn't gone in when I did, I would have lost my rings completely. My engagement ring, my wedding ring, my like all of it. Um because they had already pulled it off the shelf kind of thing and everything. Like it was getting put out for sale. Um because I had defaulted past the deadline and I didn't realize my phone hasn't been working. So I was like, I honestly didn't realize or I would have gone in sooner. Um but I was so grateful um to pay that bigger amount and not lose those rings and that I had been nudged to go in and pay, right? To get that out of the way. Because I didn't even realize that it was today was the cutoff for that. I was also, among other things, nudged to pay a little bit to my brother. So I have owed him money from when I first left my husband almost 2 years ago. Um, it has been, I had to, the first time I had to pull from like 5 or 6 different sources to get enough for a damage deposit and have all of that ready to go. So, I've owed him this money. It's about $400, um, for almost 2 years now. And not like I haven't thought about it that whole time. But financially, I've been a mess for about 2 years, right? I've been talking about this on this podcast. So, um, I was nudged to pay him something. And one of the things from the mastermind call this morning that came up, somebody was talking about feeling like if they didn't do everything on their list that day, they felt like it would just be pointless to do any of it. And then they would get stuck in this cycle of not getting things done. And I had shared my mantra, which I always share. I use this with all my coaching clients. It has been my thing for like probably a good 3 years now that I've been saying this. Um, and it is all or something, not all or nothing. It does not have to be all or nothing. We get to do just something, and that is better than nothing. And it's another version of like the done is better than perfect, or you hear lots of these different phrases. But I had that come up in that mastermind call this morning, saying, like sharing that she could do all or something. She didn't have to do all or nothing. And then multiple times throughout the day, I was reminded of this fact myself. And this was one of them, right? Where like, why have I not paid him any of it back? It was like I was waiting to pay the full chunk all at once, the way that he had sent it to me. And like, it wasn't okay to pay it off gradually or something. So today I was like, nope, enough of this. And again, you guys, I don't even have the rent for the end of the month, but it was like, you need to send him $50. Like, just send him some money today. And it could have been 20, but no, it was 50. And um I sent him a message and I was like, hey, like, I'm so sick of owing you money. I'm sending you $50, all or something, not all or nothing. So, like, this is what I have right this minute, and I'm going to send it to you. And I'm not giving up on the rest. I'm going to have to do this gradually instead of all in one chunk. And that's the only reason. And I'm sorry that it's been so long. And he sent me back, like, thank you. Financially, things really suck right now, and this is super helpful. So, or something along those lines. I'm not word for word, but it was just like that nudge was not for nothing. And if I had ignored that and let my fears about rent play out and held on to that $50 that wasn't even going to get me close to the amount that I needed for rent, anyways, he would have still been struggling with funds. So it was very inspired timing. And I was so glad that I was able to send that when I did, and that it was helpful for him, and so on. I was, I was nudged to pay my cell phone bill, which was only overdue by a few days and could have gone like a month or more before they would be cutting it off. I have all the time in the world, like it just was so many realizations of poor money mindset um, on my part that has come out of being so broke for 2 years. And for a lot of my life, right? I grew up very poor. Um, and all the way until I was with my husband, finances were always a struggle. Um, with my husband, the two of us brought in a decent income. Things were more comfortable, things like that. But there was always a lot of lack mindset, anyways, coming from him. And just, I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I've made great money and had great money mindset and had people around me with great money mindset and like all the things. Um, so yeah, crappy money mindset to say, oh, it was only overdue by a few days. But anyways, instead of allowing that to wait, I followed my intuition. Like, nope, if I have the money, I'm paying my bills when they come. No more late fees. Um, I'm trusting and setting the intention that every dollar I pay comes back to me 10 times over right away. And this was what I was talking about. I think it was in yesterday's episode as well. And so I was practicing this all day today, paying these things. I was also nudged to stop at Costco since I was in the city, because there's no Costco where I live. Um, and I don't usually place grocery orders for Costco just because the um I have to make a fairly large order to make it worth it. uh so I don't usually want to do that. Anyways, so I was in the city. I wanted to stop at Costco and just pick up a couple of things that are really, in my mind, not worth buying anywhere else. Like the big giant boxes of granola bars when you've got 3 kids. Um that are the same price as the boxes with like 20, and they've got like 48 or so, like, so a few things like that. And I have been avoiding buying snacks. Okay, like in general, because they're so dang expensive. And yeah, so I just have been not buying them at all. And by doing that and, quote unquote, saving the money, um, and only ever having like healthy stuff and no snacks with young kids is so difficult. And I know that that's like, hashtag first world problems. We had food, like I said, we always have food. I'm always okay as far as that goes, but it takes so much more prep time to turn raw and uncooked foods into things that they'll eat. So, for me, I particularly hate cooking. So that and like food prep and all of it, like I just don't love working in the kitchen, period. And um so it's been really exhausting mentally for me to have to keep up with the constant demand for a snack. Um and especially because my two younger kids are more picky, and the teenager, she's been giving me like the big size and the rolled eyes and, all of that, being like, oh, you don't have the things I want. Like she's craving the junk. Right. And, I don't have a problem with my kids having to eat the healthy options at all. I'm willing to struggle with that. But today I followed the nudge to go buy some of those things, um, relieve that mental exhaustion for myself. And I just thought, like, no, I'm allowed to have ease sometimes, right? I get to have ease, and really, especially with Costco prices, like it would be ridiculous for me not to do it. So I did it. Um, then there was, as I was driving, I usually would be listening to a replay that I needed to catch up on, or a card reading on YouTube sometimes, or an audiobook or a podcast while I'm driving. But I followed the nudges again, to just have silence on and not overload my mind. And it was really peaceful and great. And I don't know that there was anything beyond that as a reason for it. And I don't think that there needs to be. I think that so often in our lives, in this day and age, we are just on autopilot and constantly filling our minds with more noise, more content, more like just consuming, right? We're consuming so much. Um, And it's really important to shut off sometimes. And a lot of the time I forget. Like I will shut off, at the end of the night, and I'll read my book, or I will be shut off in the morning when I wake up. I don't jump right onto my screens or, consuming content of any sort. But it's very rare that I do nothing, like just sit there and stare at a wall, unless I've overwhelmed myself with synchronicities or something. That I'll sit there and stare at a wall, like how, and my mind is blown. But like it's very rare for me to do this, and to be driving and not utilizing that time, right? Being productive by listening to something while I drive is like unheard of. I almost never do that. But it was nice. It was peaceful. It was great. I loved it. Um, I also more synchronicities. So as I got back home from running errands and doing all this stuff, I pulled up into the garage and turned the car off at home at 11:11 a.m. after seeing 22 seconds remaining on every damn crosswalk while I was running my errands. You guys, I I couldn't stop laughing. Like I was like, this is just so ridiculous. And maybe this is another reason for why I needed to keep the distractions off, like audio distractions, that I was more aware of, like these small synchronicities that were happening around me. But literally every crosswalk that I drove by, I would see it flash 22, 21, and it would be counting down from there, but it would always be 22 first. And I was just like, what? Like it was unbelievable. And then I got home right at 11:11 a.m., which was pretty cool also. Then, um, this morning I actually had like some weird funky things going on with Facebook. So I hadn't been on Facebook all day. And when I got onto Facebook, in my Facebook memories today, okay, so May 22nd, and this was from 2 years ago, May 22nd of 2022, again, 22, um, I became a world record holder. And it sounds so much more glamorous than it is. The world record that I have is not something that I had to, put in a ton of effort for. I did not have to practice my whole life and become the best at something to have this one. But I still think it's super cool to actually be able to say I am a world record holder, and I am. Um, but this one was for the most pictures of female entrepreneurs and a laptop in 12 hours was like something along those lines. I might even not be saying it right. So I participated in that. It was a joint world record with like hundreds of women, right? Um, but I don't care. Like, I became a world record holder, and that is just a really cool thing to be able to say. And not cool as in like, oh, I'm a cool kid, but just I think that's so cool. I'm so nerdy and I think it's so cool. And the fact that it was on the 22nd of 2022 that I became a world record holder, I thought was very notable. um, and as silly as it might be, it's just these kinds of synchronicities, they're small things that make up a big picture of alignment and guidance from our spirit teams. So all of those today were just like, okay. And every single one was mind blowing. Like, it just was maybe not paying my phone bill, but I think that was just a good financial decision. um, it was, every single one had some sort of an impact or some sort of a ripple or some sort of um, a reason that was beyond what I was aware of that made me grateful that I had done it. Or there was just all these synchronicities. So it was an incredible day. I also had an incredible, I've been saying incredible a lot, but everything was incredible. It was amazing. It was astounding. I can come up with better synonyms, I'm sure. Um, I had an amazing healing quest with Alex, who, if you are not in my immediate circles on Facebook, you may not know who I'm talking about. She is one of my best online friends. She and also she is I am her client, she is my client. We help each other with different things, and not in a free way. We both purchase each other's services. Okay, so anyway, I had this healing quest with Alex, and her quests are similar to like a shamanic journey, or they probably just are a shamanic journey. I think she's just named them quests, but they are they're so different. I've experienced so many journeys at this point as a shamanic practitioner, and with several other shamanic practitioners, which she also is, but she is so unique. Hers are so different. And I can't praise them enough. Like, they're so powerful. I'm in her longer program right now. So I've been having one of these every 2 weeks, which is why I've mentioned these healing calls a couple of times in this podcast. But the one today really knocked my socks off. I've been saying knocked my socks off a lot lately too, which is odd, but that's okay. So today she helped me to not only discover, and coming into this session, I did not know what we were going to be doing. Like, we chat first and she unearths the thing that needs to be worked on. Like, my mind is blown just on that part. There's so many little perspective shifts and belief tweaks and stuff like that happen in these conversations, and then going from that into the quest with this purpose that she has like drawn out of you in this chat. I can't say enough about them. They're really, really incredible. But today she helped me not only discover, but also destroy and rewrite the soul contract, which was binding me to a life of specifically making massive impact without decent financial compensation. In fact, quite terrible compensation. um, you guys, I sobbed for like 20 minutes on this call. And for any of you who know me that are listening to this, you will know that because everybody that knows me knows I don't do crying. I didn't do crying. My spiritual awakening, shamanic journey, all of this, has sort of cracked me open to be more emotional, but it is still very rare for me to cry. And when I cry, it's like a few tears, and then I'm like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Like I struggle with fully releasing emotion by crying. And yeah, so a few tears is rare. Me sobbing for 20 minutes is unheard of. So that speaks volumes in and of itself, which is why I'm sharing it. But in this session, she helped me to break through this barrier that I had created for myself, right? Your soul contract being something that you agreed to before you came here. um, or that you even decided on yourself and whatnot. But I had made it specifically something that I was not able to see or discover on my own. Um, and so the blessing of having somebody else discover it for me and help me to rectify it. Um, it's really beyond words. I'm so grateful. And again, my mind is just blown, and I have, oh, pardon me. Whew. Um, I there's just no words. There's really no words. I will write her out a much better testimonial than this. Um, but she literally basically took me from, it was not a vow of poverty. It was a vow of connecting deeply with the land, with this planet, and with like helping people with being a healer, being a of service to others, making a big impact in the world without financial compensation, basically. Like it just was like a little bit of backstory as to why I had a past life where I was very, very wealthy and very greedy and didn't use that money for any good. And this lifetime was me saying, I want to prove that I can make a big impact without the money, basically. And if you know me, again, you'll know that I am extremely stubborn. And I've gone through almost 40 years of life with being so stubborn that I wouldn't even, when I was introduced to communicating with my spirit guides in the last couple of years, I wouldn't even communicate to them properly the level of um unsupportedness, the level of poverty, the level of struggle financially and of suffering financially that I was at. And today, uh, basically, she was like, got them to look at what life is right now. And they were shocked at how broken the world is. And just saying that makes me want to cry again. That was the point where I broke down just sobbing. And it was because I do want to change that. I want to change that the world is so broken. And I I will, and I would have done without the financial compensation. That's how fucking stubborn I am. And now I don't have to. Like I said, we discovered it, we destroyed it, and then we rewrote it with my guides, so that they can support me in bringing in financial abundance so that I am able to not only be comfortable and have a life where I am not suffering financially, but also where I can have so much abundance that I can increase my impact and make a bigger difference in the world through the abundance that I bring in. And I am just still floored. It's been hours. I'm still floored. I'm still just in awe. Um, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. My voice keeps shaking and I'm trying to control it to record this episode so that I'm not like sobbing into the episode. But I am, as much as I want to be vulnerable, you guys won't understand me if I start sobbing. So I'm really trying. Um, but I'm just so grateful, and I'm really blown away by the energy of today. Um, and I just want to share a mantra from the coach that I'm working with in this mastermind that I'm in, which I think she just posted in one of the groups I'm in with her today. And it is powerful, and it just feels so right as an ending to this day, as a wrap up and a conclusion to this powerful, stretchy as fuck, scary and intense energy of this day. And it is so simple, but I'm going to share it right now. It's my time. I am ready. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to receive. And I'm in love with that. It's so, so simple. But I will be repeating that to myself. And I can just feel I'm trying to hold back these yawns. And the energy is still clearing. It is full moon clearing energy right now, and I can't stop yawning. I can't stop. I can feel like the tears coming back in. It's just a ton of energy today. Um wow, this episode is long again. Uh I just want to share that I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for you who's listening. I'm so grateful for all of the women that I've met online who are just incredible powerhouses and such, oh, just such incredible healers, such wonderful people, and such powerful healers, and who are helping me to transform my life. I'm going to link Alex's group, her Facebook group. If any of you would like to connect with her, uh, join her group, get to know her. She is I gotta stop saying incredible. She's an amazing human being. Um, and she is just one of the best people I know. And if you are at all able to swing even a single session with her, let alone getting in on her quests, her inner quest for outer riches, which is her 12-week, I believe, program. Um, don't pass it up. Don't pass it up. You will change your life for the infinitely better version that you never knew it could be. I just cannot recommend her enough. So I will link her group, as that's the best way to sort of get into her energy, get to know her a bit, and you can find a way to work with her from there. If you ever decide you want to do that. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can still be in her energy. Her energy is amazing. So I will absolutely link that tonight. And Alex, whenever you listen to this, thank you, and I love you. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.